Welcome back. We're here to talk about Saturday's Premier League match between Manchester City and Norwich at the Etihad Stadium. Start with the home side, Pascal. Really disappointing display against Manchester United last time out.
It really was. Billed as a big game on that, Super Sunday of football, and it just disappointed all over. Certainly City went there and they didn't go and attempt to win the game really. So they had key players missing, Aguero and Silva. I think the Silva missing really would have changed the game for them because Bonnie certainly offers an option up there. But they really lacked that creative spark. De Bruyne had the odd moment here and there, but he went quiet. He's had such a brilliant start to his City career, but he was quite quiet all game long. Sterling after that hat trick the week before, he was expected to do something. He had a shot early on, but apart from that, really nothing in it. And he almost gave away a penalty as well when Herrera went down. I think it would have been harsh on him, but you could have seen the referee giving it, and the linesman was right there as well. So maybe City slightly got away with that one, but the rest of the game, United probably edged it over the course of the game. There's very few shots on target at all, in fact. So a draw was the right result, and I think the way the game went, I think Pellegrini would probably be happy with that. They're still top of the table. Arsenal joined them there at the top of the table. They're level on points now. They're United 2 back. I think it was a chance for City certainly to extend that lead over United, but I think a draw at Old Trafford certainly wasn't the worst result. And you look at the table, still top. I think that's still a good position to be in. Obviously, they regret not pushing further ahead, but it's the big game tonight as well. They got Palace in the League Cup tonight. You saw Chelsea and Arsenal go out, so it's a chance for City to progress in that. Some big boys going out there, so they'll fancy some silverware there if they can keep going. And I think Palace, they'll be favourites tonight.
I think with that Manchester derby, a couple of City players came out after the game and said they were pretty content with that draw, the way the match went, and it did end a 4-game winning streak for them, which would have been disappointing to see that end, but they are now unbeaten in 5 games before tonight's League Cup match that you mentioned, and they'll expect that run to go on because the next 2 after that League Cup match in Norwich, obviously this weekend, and then Aston Villa after that, 2 of the bottom 5, and they'd expect maximum points from those. You'd expect them to get maximum points from them, even if the likes of Aguero, Silva are still sidelined. You mentioned how key those 2 players they are for them, but they've shown that they can score goals without them with that 5-1 victory recently over Bournemouth. They can get goals, and they'd expect to get more goals against the likes of Norwich and Aston Villa. And if they can get maximum points from there, they'll be hopeful of going away from Manchester United, as you mentioned, and perhaps even Arsenal.
Yeah, they're the top scorers in the league, like I said. They've got 24, and no team's conceded fewer as well. So best goal difference there, which with the way of the league at the moment, that always helps. It's very close up there. Arsenal and City up there, then United and West Ham just behind. And they've won their last 3 home games in all competitions. Scored 11 in the last 2. They had 6-1 against Newcastle, 5-1 against Bournemouth. So they're flying at home at the moment. They haven't kept a clean sheet since August though, so that's something they want to put right. Those games, the Newcastle one, they didn't start well there, and the Bournemouth goal they scored was that deflected Murray once. Joe Hart, he'll be wanting to get some more clean sheets, but in terms of it's sort of a couple of seasons back, City were just irresistible at home. Not quite as good at home last season, but this season they look really good at home again, and certainly that's where, if they are going to win the title, if they keep winning at home like they have been, scoring as many goals as they have been, even without Aguero, they scored 5 against Bournemouth, didn't they? So, and especially as they're playing Norwich here, Norwich struggling a bit themselves. That City will start this game as favourites, and anything but a City win would just be a huge surprise.
Yeah, they'll certainly be heavy favourites for the match, won't they? Norwich, as you mentioned, on really poor form, lost 3 on the bounce, and then lost in the League Cup in midweek as well on penalties. Perhaps a bit unfortunate to lose that match. The Everton keeper Joel Robles was man of the match in that game, and they only went out on penalties, so perhaps unfortunate to go. And you can say they've been a bit unlucky in quite a few matches this season because they haven't played particularly badly in too many of the games, but another defeat last Saturday against West Brom. It was more the same story. They had chances to get something out of the game. Redmond in particular looked pretty threatening, as he has all season. He's been their standout player so far this season, but in the end they just dropped to a 1-0 defeat against the West Brom side, who themselves haven't had the best start to the season. It was Salomon Rondon, a really good header from him after he'd missed a few good chances in the first half as well. So another disappointing result, but there are encouraging signs with the performance. Alex Neil said after the game, though, they need to start picking up those points, and they really do. Otherwise, they could find themselves in trouble sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they need to. I think the one problem they've had this season is they haven't found that starting striker. And Mbakani scored the goal the week before, and then he started against West Brom but couldn't get a goal. Cameron Jerome's dropped out. Lewis Graben's still working his way back to full fitness after he went. He had that AWOL incident at the start of the season where he got dropped for the Rotherham Cup game, and then he's obviously not happy there. And they've obviously, Alex Neil must have decided Gary Hooper's not good enough because he's gone on loan to Sheffield Wednesday until January. So that's an area they need to improve. And defensively as well, only Bournemouth and Newcastle have conceded more goals than Norwich. They've conceded 21 in 10. So they're not exactly keeping clean sheets. Only one last week, but that's where they need to improve. They've only won once away from home all season. You can't see that them making it 2 here, and that was the first one away at Sunderland when Sunderland were just all over the place in those sort of early weeks of the season. Last time out away from home, 6-2 against Newcastle in their last away game. That game, certainly watching it back, that could have easily gone a different way. That game, Newcastle just basically all of their shots went in. And Norwich, they had chances, and it could have been a different result. So again, away from home, they'd lost against Everton last night, but they are playing well. But at the moment, they're just not picking up the results, and that's obviously left them 16th in the table. And they really need a win, but I can't see it coming here.
Yeah, they've got a pretty poor record against Man City. Only 2 wins in 14 Premier League meetings between the two sides to give them any chance.
Not at all. No, I think City, even though Silva's still a doubt for this game, he might come back. I mean, if he's on the periphery, he thinks Pellegrini probably won't risk him because he should be able to. They should be able to beat Norwich anyway here. And even without Aguero, Bonnie's there, Sterling, they should still be fine. I'm going for 3-0 win for them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I can see it being comfortable for Man City, as I mentioned. They've still got goals in their team, the likes of De Bruyne, Sterling, Bonnie. They should be able to win this quite comfortably, and I agree with the 3-0 scoreline as well. So we're both going for convincing Manchester City wins. Thanks for joining us.